But I think that's better. I mean, with the coffee, you'll get a major down, here and there. And after a while, it wouldn't do anything.
The coffee so I could maintain rather than go up and down.
Yeah.
And a couple of people brought us coconut water, which I've never really drank before. But
Oh, it's
it
good.
really does hydrate you faster. So
Yeah.
I had.
What?
Where's my mic?
Oh, there it is. It has gotten darker since we were last here. I'm not sure how I feel about that now. Are you taking that home? Have you tried this? Are you a fudge guy?
I'm not a fudge guy.
Okay.
I'm a Nutella guy.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. My
Okay.
day doesn't start without Nutella with croissant and coffee.
Good for you. I can't back you up, but good for you.
We should say this is Roberto Campanella.
That's correct.
Wicked.
All right, first.
Yes.
First one out of the gate.
That was the first test to see whether or not you
Right.
guys are still.
I felt my tongue go like, what? So, your being here today is a result of Leslie Hope,
Leslie
pretty
Hope.
much single-handedly.
That's correct. We met on the train on Saturday.
Yeah. Vamp camp.
Vamp camp to start with, and we'll explain what Vamp camp is.
And you're a movement coach.
I am a movement coach. Well, I mean, my industry is actually dance.
I was gonna say it would have to be like dance and then kind of augment
That's-
to something else.
That's right. That's right. So I've been a dancer my entire life. I had a career as a dancer, and I was a soloist with the National Ballet. It's not
Really?
really the reason why I moved to Canada, because if you haven't already guessed, I'm Italian.
What?
So I moved here because of a gorgeous Canadian woman.
As you do.
That's right. But, both of us had a contract with the National Ballet. So then when I left the ballet, I went independent and I started choreographing.
Wow.
So when we, Silent Hill came up, they were looking for a choreographer.
Oh yeah.
and we're-
I mean.
The nurses or something.
Yeah,
No, it was
let me
the,
jump in. I'm gonna say it might not necessarily be the best movie, but the movement of those of the creatures in that film is fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's you.
And that was me because,
Dude.
yes, the Christophe Gans, the director, felt really strongly about having a dance choreographer for all the creatures.
Well, it makes
involved.
sense, right?
Yeah, and it was great. It was my very first experience, and then I actually managed to meet the two creatures in the movie. One was the Red Pyramid.
I was gonna say because that's like one of the main kind of.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the other one was this spidery-like creature that comes out of a washroom.
Would you like one?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Can we get you some
that's
Nutella?
a beer. Oh.
Yeah. Do you want a beer?
Oh, it's time for a beer? No, I'm okay, thank you.
Well, it's free because Dean Wilson is our sponsor for the hour we broke the record and the hour in which we
Oh, that's
finished
fantastic.
it.
That's good.
Although it's a bit early, but whatever, it's cool.
So anyway, since then I seem to have found a niche as a movement coordinator in TV and film, mostly for creatures or horror movies.
Now, how do you decide then how something moves?
Well, it's usually I'm there to translate the director's vision.
Okay.
So it's usually the director has something in mind.
Yeah, like he'll say,
They
I
have
want
a
it to
vision.
be, I want it to be creepy but aggressive.
That's right.
And
That's
it
right.
has to move fast or something.
That's right.
Okay.
In the case of The Strain, there is an entire biology about the vampires. So, except the initial transformation, that they're still half human.
Yep.
But then there is nothing human about the vampires. They have, as we've seen in the show, they have a 5-6 feet long stinger They have the blood is white, and you know the
Wormy.
and there is actually a creation of the entire biology of these vampires.
Right.
So there is Guillermo felt, Mr. Del Toro felt.
You can call him Guillermo. It's fine. Because then it sounds like you know him, and I'm like, call him.
Well, we've
Call him.
you know, with
We're like 2 degrees now.
We're that much closer to knowing Guillermo del Toro. Please continue.
He's of course the almighty visionary director, and he also had a vision for the vampires. The way the master moves is different from the vampires.
Very, yes.
So we actually managed to have a couple of sessions in the studio with dancers, myself, and Guillermo, to actually work out certain movements. And Guillermo, being Guillermo, he's very specific about certain things.
Yeah.
And he's very visual.
Yeah.
Incredibly
Very
visual.
visual, yeah.
Incredibly visual. So for him, and he has an incredible eye when it also comes to movement. Things that you think he would turn to me and say, well, but I think we should do this. And I would think about it, it's like,
Really?
okay.
Are you sure? Yeah.
And then
And it
you would
works.
see it in action with the dancers, and it would take me by surprise. Me, who I'm used to so much movement in my life. But yeah, I mean, Guillermo felt strongly about it, so it's detailed, specific movement for the vampires, as well as for the master. It's all written down, actually. So there is a Bible.
There's a Bible now.
There
Yeah.
is the Bible of the movement created specifically for these kinds of vampires.
Wow.
The way Guillermo had envisioned. So it's incredibly fascinating, also because it's always different, and working with someone like him, and working on a great show like This Rain, where of course my involvement is not marginal. It's actually I'm heavily involved.
Yeah.
It
A
has
lot of
been
people
a real
become vampires, so
yeah. I mean,
I get to work with the whole cast.
I know, and the second season is going to be even
Yeah,
more vampires,
no doubt.
and more vampires in the show. So it's great to feel like you're contributing and not a marginal role.
Yeah.
in
That's
it.
so cool.
Yes, it's
Once when we talked to Leslie and she was telling us all about you, and she was like, "Really, dance class for vampires?" But
Yeah,
when
they-
she talked about how specific it was, then I started watching it. Every time I saw a vampire in the show, I was like, huh? I started trying to emulate them a little bit.
Yeah, and what's interesting also is that if there is an evolution actually in the first season,
Yes.
like the way they move
When
in the
they're
first
new.
episode,
Yeah.
you can tell that it slowly
It changes,
evolves.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because even we, people on set, producers or different directors would, come up with certain ideas, or we would change certain things that perhaps didn't work out. So, for example, you don't see a twitching,
Right.
that you see in the first 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah.
So you start seeing from episode 5 on, you start seeing the twitching of the head or the body that was never there.
Yeah.
So even in the first season, there is that kind of evolution. The second season, we're really tweaking, modifying, altering, and improving upon what we had in the first season.
Yeah.
So even you will see in the second season, even what I would say an improvement and a better evolution of the vampires. Even more ferocious
Yeah.
than they were in the first one,
Yeah,
and,
because they were
and,
ferocious.
and
Yeah.
scarier than the first one. So.
Yeah.
As far as Leslie, I mean, it's interesting and fascinating to see when it's actors, when the actors
Yeah.
turn. So they have to go through vamp camp,
Yeah.
which is a vampire camp that we do with everybody. And you can see how hesitant they are at first, because they really perhaps think that they're gonna dance.
Yeah.
They meet the dance
It'd be like Michael
choreographer. They
Jackson's
meet
Thriller.
the choreographer. That's right. It's like, here we go. We're gonna do that, as you said. The thriller,
jazz hands.
and the jazz dance, and the jazz light And so at first, I was really polite with the actors, but now it's just the first joke is that I come up and say, okay, so now this is the choreography you have to learn, and I do this crazy dance for them, and they're in shock, and some of them it's like, well, where did I park the car? Because I'm actually living this place right now.
And if you don't learn it, we're going to cast you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. If you can't learn it, you're done.
Yeah.
But no, it's just a really it's an enhancement of ferocious body language.
Wow.
I mean, simply put, and actors and someone like Leslie, Leslie Hope and Natalie Brown, we take them as the ones who've done an outstanding job.
Yeah, I was going to say
Amazing.
Natalie was so, and maybe it was just because she was closer to the end, but everything she did, I was like, this is so disturbing. I can't look at her. She
Yeah.
almost looked happy about it.
Yeah.
It was so wrong.
The challenge for her is that she was going through the transformation, so she still had to find the balance between showing a bit of human, but at
Yeah.
the same time being this rabid dog.
Yeah.
That they are.
The way they explained how the physiology just completely changed into something else. It was almost like you could, like they're walking around, but it's happening as they are,
Yeah.
sort of thing. Like it's almost like their body's still trying to fight it. And,
That's right.
it's
the
like when a
human
guy
part of
turns
you
into
is
a
really
werewolf.
trying to fight it.
Yeah.
And not only that, they also go through this excruciating pain.
yes.
So the neck, the head hurts,
Yeah.
and so there are so many elements into it, and trying to find the balance was, especially with Natalie, for me was a big learning curve.
Yeah.
The great thing about both of them is that they don't take things lightly. They work in details. They really dig it. They go in depth for each of the moments of their performance, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is great because with approximation there is no end to the damage, really, and it
Yeah.
becomes, and we're always on, trying to balance ourselves between making it look stupid or silly, and it's a fine line. It's a very fine line.
Totally.
The other thing with us is that it's easy to make it look like zombies, which is you can even mention that
Don't say
that
that
thing
word.
on
Don't
set,
say
in set, so they can look like zombie. That there are a lot of elements that go into the whole process. So, but the two of them was just a joy, really a joy to work with.
I like how
Really,
especially I think more for me with Leslie the creepiest part. I mean, aside from like her eyes starting to turn and stuff, and she's like, "What? I have a headache." When she went up and she caught her daughter's pulse in her neck, and she just went up and did the
And she
sniffing.
sniffed it,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't think I breathed. I was just like, "Oh my God, you're so pretty,
Yeah.
but not right now."
That's right. That's right. And the reason, again, even for her was because the main motivation at some point, the main motivation for these vampires is feeding.
Yeah.
They just want to eat. So
And they go home to the ones they love first.
That's right.
Yeah.
So during the transformation, this is also what they're struggling with. So there is again, it's it's hard to believe how much goes into preparing these vampires ultimately, because it's not really just about movement. It's about really the combination of a lot of things that the scene demands and blah 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 blah. So yeah.
Was it hard with where were they? The gas station when when the
yeah.
horde came? Was it harder to choreograph that many people?
Well, it's funny because we were just having a meeting at some point. The producer Miles Dale said, I look at that scene, and I think perhaps you needed an assistant because it was a lot of people, a lot of people. But I actually, it was one of my the moments that I think will stick with me forever, because to me that's where I really come to life when there is that constant contribution that you have to take care of so many people, so
was
many
me Friday
vampires.
Different way, but
Yeah, and we had background. We had a lot of dancers. A lot of dancers are vampires because, of course, it's movement based. So, and dancers are great soldiers. They're accurate. They're consistent. So. And it was a lot of fun. It was very cold shooting, and there was night shifts, so we were shooting at night. It was really cold, and we were trying to take care of all the vampires, outside, and trying to at each break trying to get them in to warm up. But some of them were really freezing, and so those were the things that.
That's where the twitch came from.
The twitching was so natural, was so perfect.
It was perfect.
It was sometimes a little bit too much.
I can't stop.
But the gas station, I had a lot of fun. A lot of stunts, the stunts on fire. Even that had to be programmed.
Yeah.
Because how do they react to fire? So even that had its own choreography, and it was packed, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun for me, for sure.
With you worked. Who did she say? Leslie and Drew were in Vamp Camp. Did you just work with the two of them? Like, did you keep it in small groups and then?
I did work with both
as far
of
as
them.
the actors go, yeah.
Yeah, I did work with both of them. When you can get two actors together, it's great because in terms of availability and when they can be with us. So yeah, I did do Vamp Camp with both of them, just the two of them.
Wow.
And it gets a little bit complicated when you ask them to crawl because they have to go down on their fours. But when they go down on their fours, it's not like a dog. They're like squatting, really squatting, and they have to move.
It's like The Exorcist.
And
basically,
and
they're like a bug.
And it's not the easiest thing to do. Because it requires a bit of flexibility. It requires a lot of thigh strength. So this is for Natalie as well, and they were like, oh well, I guess I have to do a lot of squats.
She ran in a squat practically. There was that one.
Leslie went all the way around the kitchen, trying to.
Yes, it was so wrong.
And yes, that's right. Trying to crawl, and it does require a lot of strength, a lot of flexibility. But she was such a good sport about it, and never once complained. She would make jokes about it, for sure, because that's Leslie. But it was. I remember that shooting was a lot of fun because a lot of things were discovered on the spot. How they react, what her hands would do on exposed to sunlight, for example.
Sure.
So a lot of the things you discover them also when you work with actors on the Vamp Camp, or a lot of the things that you never thought about that you go, oh right, of course, there should be light here, and so they have to react. How are they going to react, and whether they're if they're shot with regular bullets, it's not the same as silver bullets. So it's always trying to keep an eye on what makes sense all the time. So you look at the monitor, and every time, even the little things, you look at background all the time as to whether or not they're going to respond to whatever is happening around them.
Yeah.
So it's a constant looking at all these little details. So
where they get shot makes a difference,
even where they get shot.
Yep.
That's right, because you can only kill them if you hit the hands, or if they got decapitated, or whatever else. So it just all of these things, and I love that. The busier I am on set,
Nice.
the better I feel, the less tired I get, because as you guys know, there is a lot of waiting around on set. So for me, the busier I am, the better. So the more people, the more vamps, the better. So
We need 20 more vamps in this kitchen.
yeah,
Basically.
yeah, exactly.
I'm getting a little tired.
In the next one, we're gonna have little ones. I'm just gonna give this little hint on what's gonna happen in the second one, and I can't wait. We have a group of incredibly talented kids who are gonna be so creepy, so creepy. And
Well, kids are creepy by themselves.
We cast them, and during the audition, we were doing some amazing work already.
Wow.
So I can't wait. I can't wait to see them in action,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to really actually have the time to work with them, because they're gonna be incredibly scary, incredibly creepy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially once they're in wardrobe and makeup, and it changes how you move anyway, and how you react to everything. You're looking at everybody else, and they look creepy. So yeah,
But
once they learn how to move, and then they
amazing.
get put in their face.
Oh yeah, and they're already amazing. Even
Yeah.
without the makeup, all the things that we've done, because they will crawl. But these kids can actually do it without. There is no need for post-production to even touch them,
Right.
Wow.
because they already look creepy. They're so incredibly flexible. And
Different center of gravity.
I mean, they're flat on the floor. The knees are sticking out, and they're so angular. And I mean, it's amazing. It's crazy. And that was just casting. So I wasn't really entirely working with them. So I can't even imagine when we start
What
adding
happens
all
after
this.
you get your hands on them?
As soon as we start adding all these little things, it's gonna be.
Turn your head right around.
I could ask them anything. I was like, well, can you stand on your teeth? Yeah, it's like, okay. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
wrong with
kidding.
you?
I'm just kidding, kids. I'm just
gonna
kidding.
do it.
You know, it's like, as long as you have dental insurance.
Don't try it at home.
Well, maybe they haven't lost all their baby teeth yet.
Yeah.
That's true. There'll be more.
That's right. But yeah, the second season is gonna be really, really exciting.
Wow.
I can't wait.
Of course, we're prepping right now, so
Do we know that?
I know what's where it's heading. I think.
Yeah. Well, have you read the books at all? Or
I have read all the books.
I mean, they're starting to diverge a little bit, so they're not.
Well, there is a bit of course,
Yeah.
because it's
Well,
the
it's a different format.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, you
That's
can do
right.
different stuff.
And I like
different
that
medium.
because I don't want to know everything that's
Yeah,
going to happen
totally.
anyway. It actually feels like the stakes are higher when I don't know anybody could die.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. I mean, I get the feeling that it goes both ways. You might find people who really want the show to be like the book, but it's I mean, as you said, it's a different medium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is the whole dramatization and the camera work. You have to, now you're writing for cameras, you're not writing, and so it's inevitable that certain things.
Oh, of course. But I think
Yes.
as long as you're faithful, if you're faithful to the material, like the spirit of
To
the
the
material,
essence of
Yeah.
it, yes.
yeah, it's still going to translate.
Yes.
And it's Del Toro, man. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the great thing about it is that we have, Chuck is writing, Chuck Hogan is writing, is one of our writers. So we have the two of them who are hands-on. So the actual authors of the books are actually hands-on the show. So sure they'll be
Yes,
faithful.
of course.
There is no doubt
And
about it.
and who better to know what should change and what can, I mean, it's
Absolutely.
their creation. If anybody's going to change it, play with it, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Although now I kind of just gave George Lucas permission to change Star
I was
Wars.
just thinking that.
Dick moved. And
The what?
it was a dick move because in that one statement, I just said it was okay for George Lucas to change Star Wars again. Shit.
You will hear that.
That's great. We were so close to the
That's
end of
true.
this without such a huge, I mean, it's the universe altering If we, I don't even know. There's no Georgina, right?
No.
Okay.
Well, she may have messaged me back.
Yeah. Well, if we have like another minute or two, you and Leslie are working on a production?
I'm totally fine so far. Yeah. Me and Leslie worked on a Fellini project.
Yes.
We turned this material that I had done 2 years ago as a project for the Global Cabaret Festival at Soul Pepper. I just felt that there was something missing, and when I met Leslie, I realized that she was the perfect one to help me unearth what, if there was more to it. So it turned into a play with dance as well. And she co-wrote it and directed for the most part. I mean, we say co-directed, but she directed the whole thing. It is still a work in progress. We're planning to develop into a full evening, a 2-hour show.
Wow.
Because right now, we performed it a couple of weekends ago for the festival, and it's 45 minutes. Now the sore thumb of what I would say, the sore thumb, she will kill me if she hears this, but the sore thumb is that she felt strongly and trying to convince me to be Fellini, which was me acting. Now, never acted before. I mean, never acted without, with words.
Right.
It's all through your expression.
I never used any lines, right? Yeah. But it's so terrifying, it's not even funny. I was so terrified that my first show, when we performed it the first time, I thought, I'm pretty sure the audience will see my heart beating fast through the clothes here, because I was completely terrified. But she said, "But you have the right accent." I was like, "Yeah, well, okay, but you have to be,
so,
you have to be an actor.
Takes a little more than that."
But it was a great experience working with her, as well as my debut as an actor. And we'll see where it's gonna head. But for sure, we will develop into a big show.
Wicked.
With a proper actor / dancer, because Fellini has to dance as well.
You can say with a different actor.
Yeah, a different actor.
Yeah, I mean,
you could be an understudy.
No, I'm fine. I'm really, seriously. I get a kick out of watching other people perform. I've had a great career too as a dancer, so I get a kick out of watching other people perform. I'd rather be, behind the camera or sitting in the audience than in the front. Really,
Fair enough.
I'm not gonna steal an actor's job anymore. There are a lot of good, professional, amazing, talented actors.
Nice.
So it's better to give it to them.
Whatever.
Yeah, I know. It's my.
You could do it.
It's only my take on that, and in fact, Leslie might probably disagree.
Hey, she's the director. You better.
You gotta do what she says.
I know she's the boss. And she's the boss. She's the
Don't
boss.
make her angry.
Okay. No, God forbid. No. I never challenge the director's vision, so absolutely.
That's funny.
Are you guys hanging out?
Roberto's
I want to know whether or not you guys are hallucinating at this point. Which hour is this at? Where are we at?
I
for
just
you?
checked. We are inside the 2-hour mark, so we're at 46.
It's 5:15. Yeah. What?
Yeah, 46.
You're at 46 right now?
Yeah.
46 hours.
I'm still okay.
I'm doing the interview now.
All right. Right here.
And right now you can.
It's a little. It feels
Who's
a little
gonna fight
dull.
that?
So your eyes are burning. Are your eyes burning?
Well, now they are that you said that. I was fine.
Okay, so I hear. You guys don't drink coffee,
No.
but you have to tell everybody how you're keeping yourself awake.
I had a couple Red Bull over the weekend. A
Red
total
Bull.
of 4.
4 Red Bulls?
4 Red Bull over the
What about
course of the
you,
entire
sir?
weekend.
I don't know how much I had, but I had Coke and water. I had a lot of water.
Because people out there want to know.
Water's
what the
amazing, and
secret
coconut water
is.
actually.
Yeah, coconut
Kept me
water.
hydrated.
And there was, and I drank a lot of water.
Drink a lot of water, that's
Drink
good.
a lot of water. Had the 4 Red Bull, and the rest was just, just whatever I could graze
Energy.
as food. And the rest of it was like, honestly, I was determined that I was not going to fall asleep. Which could still happen.
Just willpower.
There's an hour and 45 minutes left or whatever it is.
And a beer in your hand.
But in these
I'm not gonna fall
46
asleep.
hours so far, there must have been a moment
Or a couple of them.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
where
What?
you felt like,
Oh yeah, I can tell you
okay,
exactly
I'm
when they
definitely not
happened.
here anymore. I'm
Although I don't know what time that was.
No, me neither.
But it was like maybe 7:30ish, right? Because Sexpert came out at like 6:30.
7:30.
So around about 7:30 this
This
morning
morning.
for about half an hour, I was starting to drift.
Well, and you had to walk away at one point.
I did. I had to walk away, but it was more.
So you just took off.
Yeah,
got up and took off.
like
and that was it.
You wait for the end.
So there he goes.
But no, the interview finished, and I'm like, I knew I had to get away. Not like how to get away, but I had to get up. I had to just walk away. I knew I had to step outside, get some fresh air. I went upstairs, kind of just threw some water on my face, threw some water on the back of my neck, and just kind of slowly came back down. Let Sue and Lindsay finish whatever interview they were on, and then slip back in.
Yeah.
I just had to get out and just walk for.
Now, perhaps,
minute.
past a certain amount of hours being
Yep.
awake, you get wired. Do you
Yep.
feel wired at this point?
No.
And then you die.
And then you die.
And then you die.
That's,
Well, that happens to
what
everybody.
after. Like,
No,
you-
I don't think I'm wired now. I think because I could definitely I could switch off right now and go to sleep if I laid down, like if I got anywhere near a horizontal position, I'm not getting back up.
Yeah.
But as long as I'm mostly keeping my head up, I'm gonna be okay.
But the great
I
thing
keep
about it,
moving,
did you beat
too.
the record? Did you beat the
Yeah.
there was a record,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and now we're just
It's
we're
not
just kind of
official.
cementing
We have
our
to put
record.
everything together, but we're setting our own record. That's what this is. What? Oh yeah.
You're setting your own record.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Because we passed
because-
theirs, and now
yeah,
we're
we
in
want to give
charge.
enough. We want to give ourselves enough of a window set, because we could have stopped at 42 because they did 41, but we wanted to make sure we had a nice big chunk. So if you're going to go for it, you've got to commit to like
You're
50
gonna
hours
hurt.
or
At
whatever.
least,
Yeah.
right.
So, and if they do it, well, you know what? Fuck them. I'll go after them again.
Yeah.
I will happily do this again, and that, I would love
So
to do it in the same venue.
who's got the record right now?
So there's 3 guys in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
They said it back in late May, early June, I think it was, but they didn't get verified until maybe a month ago at most, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was ready just in case they did. I was like, forget it, we're going 48,
Yeah.
whether they make it or not.
Right,
Yep.
right.
And that was the plan.
Yeah. I'm actually really glad that we kept everything short. It was like 15, 20 minutes
Yeah.
for
and it
interviews.
works. Because
It started getting so that, like today especially, every time I get up, like my back hurts, my knees hurt. I walk to the washroom like kind of Tin Man a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm stretching as I walk. I'm just trying to move everything out of this
Yeah.
seated position. And
I think Kelly's gonna kick
Is that my
me out.
girlfriend?
Are you gonna kick
Is
me
that my
out?
girlfriend, Natalie?
oh my goodness!
Yeah. So I just get really excited because she's really attractive.
Your girlfriend?
Well, she's not really my girlfriend.
She could.
Pretty
She
much
should be.
every
She
girl.
should be. That's actually what I meant. Not could be.
That's what it should be. Hey, dude. How you feeling, pal?
Lindsay?
Nice job with
Roberto,
the
nice
Raps
meeting you.
jersey. There's a good way to
Hey,
finish
how you
up.
feeling, pal?
I'm doing pretty good. How did you find the show?
Oh, you came in through the door.
This whole experience.
How did
It's
you
good,
find the
it's
show?
fun.
I followed the
What?
I
signs.
followed the sign.
It's
There was a
fun,
door.
It's casual.
Yeah.
It's it's not formal, which is.
Yeah.
And then he took over,
Yeah.
interviewed us for a little
And
bit.
yeah, I thought that I would just take over in general because.
This is your show now.
Like,
Could be, he's just a
I mean, you have to
hallucination.
shoot me for
He might not actually be here.
in interviews.
If Roberto doesn't show up on film,
That's right. I'm going to be really concerned.
if we have to do this again ever, that's what we should do at the end.
But the answers were really smart, so and I'm not really
Yeah.
capable of thinking of those right now. So
Yeah.
I think he's actually here.
At the end,
I'm
if we ever
here
have to do
help
this
you
again, at the
guys.
end, let's pretend
We're
we
ready to
hallucinate
believe
somebody and
you.
like interview air.
Yeah.
I think you
Pretty good
should.
time yourself.
I think you should have a bad interview, like the interview of you guys, completely done, and asking the most ridiculous questions.
Oh, that's all we do.
Like, do you have a pet?
That
What's
happens.
the name of your pet?
That happens.
Might
Like,
have done
not
that
interested in their career.
No,
at
screw
all.
that.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, we completely ignore anything they do.
Yeah.
So, what do you do?
Yeah. Who are you again? Yeah.
And having these long pauses in between and just
Yeah.
looking at
Oh,
them
yeah,
without
just-
asking
just
anything.
wait, yeah.
And
Just
don't
wait.
blink.
Just see who breaks first.
You're taking our strategy coming up in a second. Ryan and I. We're the air fillers. We need a little bit of filling.
Yeah,
Ryan's just here to
Yeah.
fill you up.
Oh, Roberto, thank you, man. That was
Thank you
fantastic.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now I want to like.
Thank you very much.
Oh, go ahead. I don't drink.